You're the one everyone runs to when they need something, but no one ever asks how you're really doing. Sadhguru says that the quietest people often carry the heaviest pain, not because they're weak, but because they've learned not to fall apart. In this video, you'll understand why the strongest ones are often the ones breaking the most inside, and how to face that pain without guilt or shame, but with truth. The strength that once helped you survive can slowly become a prison. Sadhguru explains that when you get used to carrying everything alone, asking for help starts to feel like weakness. So you keep stacking pain, frustration, and pressure, all in silence. But your body feels it, your energy holds it, your soul screams, and yet no one sees. Because on the outside you always look just fine. You've become the strong one, the rock of the family, the pillar in your circle. But even pillars crack. Yours just don't show, because you've learned how to hide them. You didn't have a choice. You were conditioned not to complain, not to cry, not to fall, and because of that you've become a container for invisible pain. The same strength that people admire is what's been holding you hostage. And that prison comes with a heavy price. You start losing yourself. You live on autopilot, just trying to get through the day, always there for everyone else, but never giving yourself permission to be taken care of. And as long as you keep confusing endurance with balance, you'll keep looking whole on the outside, while falling apart on the inside, because the pain you hide doesn't go away. It just gets louder in silence. Swallowing the pain seems easier than trying to explain it. You take a deep breath, say "I'm fine," and keep going, but deep down something keeps tightening. Sadhguru teaches that when emotions aren't expressed with awareness, they settle into the body and replay in the mind. And that loop slowly drains your life force bit by bit, day after day. You start feeling tired for no reason, can't sleep, can't feel joy. Even without tears, there's a deep exhaustion, because carrying unspoken pain takes more energy than actually feeling it, and that silence turns into weight, an emotional burden that shows up as tension, illness, emotional numbness, or distance from others. What's hardest is that no one notices. All they see is the strong one, but inside there's someone screaming silently, someone who wants to let go but doesn't remember how. Even your soul starts to go quiet, and the more you hold it all in, the further away you drift from yourself, because the silence that hurts the most is the one you force upon your own heart. You've learned to be everyone's safe place, the fixer, the one who never breaks. But somewhere along the way, that role turned into armor. Sadhguru explains that when your ego becomes attached to being strong, you start to believe you don't need anyone, not even yourself, and that's dangerous. Even a temple needs a foundation, and you've been ignoring yours. While caring for everyone else, you've been abandoning yourself. And in the silence of your nights, you feel the emptiness, a kind of burnout that doesn't come from work, but from emotional loneliness. The whole world might admire you, but if you don't care for yourself, something will always feel off, because the soul doesn't want to just function, it wants to be heard. And that listening starts when you say, "I need care too. I need rest. I need support. I need to feel held, not because I'm weak, but because I'm human, because no one can hold the world up with an exhausted heart." True strength isn't about staying silent. It's about asking for help before you fall apart. Eventually, even the strongest can't carry it all. And when that moment comes, fear shows up. If I fall, who's going to keep it all together? But Sadhguru says breakdowns aren't failures. They're openings. The collapse you fear might just be the door to your healing. Because only when the armor cracks can your heart finally breathe again. Your release doesn't need to be dramatic or public. Sometimes it's just closing the door, taking a deep breath, and whispering, "I can't keep pretending." And in that moment, the silence that once suffocated you becomes presence. The pain that blocked you starts to flow, and all the weight you were holding out of fear finally starts to shift. That's the most honest part of the journey, when your soul is finally allowed to feel. And in that permission, something is born that brute strength could never offer. Lightness. Not the lightness of someone who moved on, but of someone who's whole. Because now, it's no longer about holding it in, it's about healing. And healing only happens when the strong allow themselves to be human. After the breakdown doesn't come the end, it comes the rebirth. Sadhguru says real strength doesn't harden, it flows. And when you give yourself the freedom to feel, fall, and face your pain without shame, a new energy rises. One built not on resistance, but on truth. A gentle, quiet strength, but unshakable. You start speaking your truth without fear, saying no without guilt, resting without shame, asking for help without feeling weak. And in that new space, you no longer need to prove anything, because now your strength doesn't come from carrying the weight of the world. It comes from the peace of carrying yourself. And that peace heals, it radiates, it sets you free. This is your new protection, not a wall but a calm frequency, a grounded presence, a peace that rises from within. And when you live from that place, the world might still be heavy, but it no longer hits you the same way. Because now you know, real strength isn't about carrying everything. It's about letting yourself evolve. Being strong doesn't mean holding up the world. It means having the courage to care for yourself. You don't have to keep it all inside. Your pain deserves space, attention, and healing too. Watch now. Discover why you're suffering. Go beyond the intellect with Sadhguru. This video will help you turn the weight you carry into inner freedom. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep walking this path, because even the strongest need to breathe too.